But here we have a brief, okay? This is a brief for a campaign. We're calling it the Expand Your Wealth campaign. And in this situation, I'm the campaign manager. My role here is to write the brief and make sure that I've got everything written down and clear for all my stakeholders to understand before it gets sent off to our creative and media agencies or any other situation. So I've got a whole bunch of information here. I filled out objectives and target channels and timelines and different budgets. My role now is to send this to approvers to review this brief so that it's spot on, we're all aligned before it goes out to our additional stakeholders. So I do that by hitting submit, and it asks me to request approval. And this particular brief is automatically sent to our approver, Beck Sanchez. Now, I'm using a very, very simple situation here. This can be as complicated as you need. You can have multiple reviewers. You can have different review workflows, but for the sake of ease and to explain how this all works, I've just gone for one reviewer here. I'll put in a comment, very easy review, and I'll put a required by date. We'll give them a week or so, and I hit submit. And off that goes to Beck for approval. So now I'll flip to this tab, and I'm going to pretend to be Beck. So Beck is my approver. And in her approval center, you can see this brief that I have just sent her. Got all the information, and her role now is to come and review this brief. So why are we reviewing briefs? So the whole idea here is that you might be spending a lot of money on campaigns or activity or a lot of time on activity. And you want to make sure that before it gets out to someone, you are completely on the same page. Everyone knows what the brief is about so that you're not wasting time and money if things come back and they're incorrect. And what these changes that I'm going to show you do enable teams to collaborate to make sure everyone's on the same page. And then if you want to go back and have a look at all the different stages, you can do that because there is a complete system of record of all your briefs. So the first thing you'll notice here, and this is a bit of a change from what you've seen before, is that brief has automatically been converted into this really, really easy to read PDF. And we've automatically generated a table of contents based on the information that was in the previous brief. And my role now as Beck is I'm going to go and review this and make sure that I'm happy with everything that goes out. I can review this like this. And let's just say that all of a sudden I see something that I'm not entirely comfortable with. I can click on my markup tab over here, and I've got access to all my markup tools that we currently have when reviewing assets, except now it's a brief. And I can click this and I can go, actually, it wasn't $2 million plus target audience. It was actually 1.5 million. So I can go in here. Remember, I'm Beck and I'm tagging me, and I can say, change to 1.5 million and send a message to me. I can go and review this brief further. And let's say I see something else that I just think that's not quite right. I want to make sure we change it. And I go, actually, we talked about it being a print campaign as well. So I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to tag Trevor. And I'm going to say, add print as discussed in our meeting last week. And then finally, I keep reviewing it. I think, hang on a second. That budget it has isn't correct. We're going to reduce that to reduce to say $170,000. And I hit save. And that's my review. Now, as I mentioned previously, you can have multiple reviewers on this brief, but for the sake of ease, we'll just say that there is one reviewer. Now, all of those changes will be sent back to me. Now I'm going to pretend to be me. I'm going to go to my approval center, and I can see my brief there. And if I go into this, I can see all the changes that Beck suggested. I can zoom in. I can click on these and it will take me directly to those changes. And you think about how easy it is now to collaborate, to see people's feedback directly on briefs. The question is, all right, what do I do about this? How do I change it? And there's a really, really easy way. I click on add revision, and that will enable me to make all those changes and create a version 2 or a revision 2 of that specific brief. So here we have changed to 1.5 million. I can easily go in there Where was it? Lost my spot. There we go. 1.5 mil. I can add print over here, and I can reduce the budget to $170,000. All right. All right. So I've made those changes based on the specific feedback. I can still reply to Beck, say things like updated. I can bring in collaborators like we can do with all of our briefs, and I can mark changes as done. So I'll just mark that one as ready to go, and that'll turn green. And I'll hit save revision. If we go, now I'm going to pretend to be Beck again. Then I'm going to go back into the brief. So she would have received a notification that a new version of the brief is ready to review. And she can go in here. And what the big change is here now is that she can see both versions here. She can see the original version with all of her feedback and all of her comments that she made before. And she can also see the new version. So this is the old version here with those comments and feedback. And she can see this new version with the changes that she requested. So there's proof that the things that she requested me to do have actually been changed. So we can go in here and see how it's changed to 1.5. And the great thing she can do here is she can highlight both of them, hit compare, and actually highlight the differences between the two briefs. So you've got that real sense of positivity that all the changes that you've requested to be made, I'll just zoom in here a bit closer so you can see it actually been made. And that applies to any person reviewing this brief. You've got this full system of record to ensure that any changes you request are actually made, and also enabling you to collaborate really easily. So this is great. She loves it. She's going to approve this brief. Oops, spell that correctly. One back, and we'll hit approve and submit the response. And that now is approved. Now, the other great thing that we can also do is I'll go back to being me now. And let me just go back to that brief. It's in my campaign briefs. And I have, within the brief itself, full approval history and full version history right here. So I can go in here and I can see those two revisions that were made, the original revision one, which is that first version that I said to Beck, and the second version as well. And I can also go in there and compare the two just as I showed you before, and I can download the PDF of each of those different revisions. So the whole point here, the whole objective is that you've got great collaboration when you're creating briefs, and you've got the ability to have a system of record of every single change. And what does that actually do? Well, it means your briefs go through the process much faster. You're not wasting time with back and forth, sending emails, tapping people on shoulders, briefs getting missing. And then once the brief has gone through, well, you've got that full system of records. You've got records of every single change that has been made to that brief.